Hey, what's up, everyone? Mark here. I'm here with Shaun. A lot of you will have heard of Go HighLevel. First time I ever recommended Go HighLevel was at a small group mastermind we did in Baltimore, where I did I did a few talks, and it was the over-encompassing topic was kind of like an add-on, making yourself more valuable in the lead gen space by owning the lead, nurturing it, taking through the process, potentially charging more because you're selling a phone call or a booked job, right? As opposed to just, throwing a tracking number in place. Regardless, that was probably one of the first times I mentioned Go HighLevel. Since then, their success it speaks for itself. They blew up. For the few of you that were under a rock and don't know, this is Shaun, the CEO, founder. You're also a tech founder, correct, Shaun? You are an engineer.
Yeah, I'm a terrible engineer, but I'm technically an engineer.
A tech founder, yeah. So this is the guy. So we wanted to take a little time. We're going to go over some lead nurturing, lead gen conversation, and we're going to get into something really cool that Shaun told me about on our first call ever, first time I met Shaun, about some of their roadmap in terms of pretty much allowing people to be the SaaS owner and and participate in the upside of the SaaS business. And that's really exciting. I'm a SaaS guy myself, so hearing that, I'm just like, wow, that's great that people don't have to incur the headache of building a SaaS. So just a lot of cool stuff. So that's maybe a long-winded intro, but Shaun, man, really, I vibed with you really well when we first met. We have a lot of similar ideals. You seem like a great guy. You have a great tool, disruptive tool, which many of the great tools are. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. So yeah, we can dive right in. I know we mentioned we'll probably start off with, just some lead nurturing. It's something a lot of people might have thought about. It's still a huge gap in terms of being offered as a service, as a software. Huge gap, and it's a huge opportunity to help businesses, and it's a lucrative opportunity as well. So maybe we can start there, Shaun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm a software guy, so I'll start by sharing my screen here. So for those of you who don't know who HighLevel is or what we do, we are really an agency-focused product, and our goal is simple. We want to help marketing agencies and agencies of all kinds kind of grow their businesses, scale their businesses. And really what we try to do is kind of do two things. We try to take all the tools you're currently using across a bunch of other systems and bring them all into one spot. So if you're using Calendly and a funnel builder and an active campaign account and all this other stuff and gluing it together with Zapier, kind of goal one is to replace all those products, put them in one spot. And the other big thing is we're a white label only product. So our goal is to white label out to the agency to let them kind of take this out to market as their product to their customers and really kind of focus on making sure that the customer understands that the value is not from the software, but from the actual agency. And so we absolutely got started in the lead nurture business, and I'll kind of show you here. I'll jump into this is a live account that I get the pleasure of demoing. This customer is very nice to me. But we got started in this exact world where if you've ever had a client where you're generating leads for them and they're not, and they come to you at the end of the week and they say, or the end of the month and say, hey, look, these leads are terrible. You're a horrible lead generating company. Like you're fired. The reality is we've all looked at these situations, and what we realize is the leads are great. It's the follow-up that's garbage. And so what we really do, or started off doing, is automating all of that follow-up, because what we knew is that our clients weren't going to do it for them, for themselves. So what we do today is we've got this really cool campaign system that, imagine a lead comes in. What do we need to do? We need to basically jump on that lead right away. And if, for those of you who haven't seen this, Google the MIT lead study, and there's a great study that was done by MIT, as you might imagine, and they looked at millions of web-based leads and they followed them through to sort of abandonment or close to sale. And this is a study that's oft quoted, where basically it was simple. If you follow with the lead in 5 minutes, the likelihood of close goes up 80%. And if they don't close off the first interaction, it's really about who can follow up the longest. That's the person that tends to win. We just really automate that full process end to end. And so in this example, we've got a company called Visionary Law Group. They're a law firm in LA. And when a new lead comes in, we're sending a text, we're sending an email, we're doing a phone call, and we're doing another follow-up SMS. We can also do voicemail drops as well. And so, but the idea here is simple. We want to get out to these leads as fast as possible and turn them into a conversation where we can actually convert that lead over into an actual sale on behalf of the, in this case, the law firm, right? And so, HighLevel as a platform has gajillions of features, and I won't go over all of them, but the idea here is really simple. Here's this nice two-way interface. You can see all of the conversations with all of your customers, both across email, text messaging, phone calls, voicemails, you name it. It's all here. It's all nicely put together in order of occurrence, and so you can kind of see all of the things that your customer or the automation is really doing with the client. And then the goal, of course, in almost all scenarios is to get people to book an appointment. So of course we have a full booking and calendaring system in the app as well. So you can replace Calendly and some of those other products. But the root goal here is pretty simple. How do we help that business capture, nurture, close, right? How do we capture all of the leads? How do we nurture all the leads, and how do we close them? And so we've got things like this opportunity builder, this pipeline builder, so you can track the opportunity through the sales flow, and you can automate a lot of this stuff. So when leads come in, if they book an appointment, the cards will automatically move. You can also create a lot of automation around this. So if certain people get stuck in certain stages, you can automatically reach out to them. So just about a gajillion features that every agency needs, either themselves directly to run their agency, or that their clients need to actually come in and work those leads as those leads respond, including a full drag and drop funnel builder. So if you currently are building funnels or websites, we also have the ability to replace those as well. So quite a bit of functionality in the product today, but the whole goal here is simple. We want to really take all the tools you're using today, bring them together in one spot, and then also allow you to have tools for your client as well.
Very cool. It's the breadth of the system's very impressive. You guys have been.
I was going to say I could sit here for an hour and I probably wouldn't get through it all.
Yeah, agreed. So, yeah, I noticed that. Plus, the rate at which you guys are engineering and adding new features is really impressive too. You can tell you guys are really dedicated to rounding it out. And then,
yeah.
So I don't know how in the weeds you want to get with new feature stuff. I know.
I was going to say I was just going to show off the workflow builder. That's the latest and greatest. Have you seen the workflow builder yet?
I haven't seen it. You told me about it.
And I remember well, it's live. So yeah, this is your.
I went bananas. I was like, man, that's going to be so cool.
It is really cool. So we looked at other products in the market, HubSpot, ActiveCampaign, those kinds of things, and we just made sure that it sort of was on par with those. So this is the ability to bring together all of the sort of marketing automation tools in one spot, and we really like it because it gives you the capacity to do really cool things, like you can wait for different events to occur, or you can come in and do all kinds of if-else logic, which is really neat. And you can actually you can add different segments. You can do ors, you can do ands, you can do a combination thereof. So it's really, really cool. It's a pretty big upgrade for us, and that just recently went live. So that's probably the coolest new feature to show off.
Yeah, I'm a very visual guy, so having that interface is. I mean, that's next level. You also talked about maybe integrating Gmb Messaging. Is that part of your guys'
Gmb Messaging is that's 100% live right now. Let's see if this account
very cool.
Turned on or not. Gmb. Yeah. So if we go and we search, let's see, Visionary Law Group, and then I got to pop open my dev tools. This is always fun to do on a. There we go. So now if you can see here, you can see that chat icon. And so if you click that chat icon, I can't do it on desktop, but if you do this on your mobile phone, it'll pop up a little window, and then you can actually literally be chatting back and forth. Let's see if I can make this thing dance on my phone right now. So I'm doing what you probably never do on a webinar, but looking down at my phone, and I'm going to do that same search on my phone here, and then let's see if I can literally do the same trick. So I'm going to hit message on my phone. I'm going to say, hey, this is a test. So now when I hit send, what should happen here, it's always good to do live demos like this. Oh, look at that. Boom. Hey, this is the test. And then I can say, hey, back. And then the other thing you should never do on a webinar is just show people your phone on camera because it's very blurry and hard to see. But there you go. So
just breaking all the rules here.
Yeah. So for whatever, for people who don't know, Google My Business messaging is going to be, in my opinion, just a massive tidal wave that comes across Google this year. We have now bi-weekly calls with the Google My Business messaging team direct, which is kind of fun because it's like having Chuck Norris call you. It's like, you don't call Chuck Norris, he calls you. Google's sort of the same way, right? And so their big push is to move Google My Business messaging from off of mobile onto desktop. So the idea is really simple. If you search like, whatever, plumber near me, their goal by the end of Q3 is these LSA ads across the top, these Google ads here, as well as the map pack will all have the message button prominently displayed. And you'll be able to actually message businesses directly, as well as book appointments, even run payments. So I think it's going to be a big deal.
It's very cool. So a large amount of my audience between the local Viking crowd, the LCT crowd, that will all be seeing this. A majority of them are highly tied to Gmb as part of their offering, and they serve SMB, brick and mortar SMBs. So
our favorite type of people, for the record.
Beautiful. Yeah. So a lot of agencies, and this is what they do day in and day out. They're looking at ways to optimize their clients' Google My Business profiles. They're looking at ways to bring more conversions through that are attributable to those actions. So just having the knowledge that it's shifting in that direction, that just came from you and Google, and then a tool that can kind of centralize the communication and help manage it and automate it, that's going to resonate really well, I think, with my crew.
Yeah, I think it's going to be phenomenal. The other thing also is the missed call text back feature. So actually, you'd be a good guy to ask. Hopefully, I don't have this wrong, but what I heard from somebody is, let's say you take this Gmb listing here, and let's say you take this phone number, and let's just, I assume that's that guy's main line. But let's say, in Google My Business, there's the primary and the secondary, right? What someone told me was that if you take the primary number and you move to the secondary position and you replace the primary, that doesn't actually hurt the rankings in Gmb. Is that true?
Correct. Yep.
Well, then that's awesome. So what we're doing is we're now automatically swapping those out. And then what that enables us to do is the business owner doesn't feel or see any difference. They still get the calls, but if they miss the call, we can actually see that they missed the call and then automatically text back the caller and say, hey, sorry we missed your call, we're on the other line, or whatever you want to say. And then we can even do things like say, would you like to book an appointment? Which is a very classic example, right? And if that person says yes, or sure, or sounds good, we've got machine learning on the back end that can then say, great, here's a link to our calendar, grab a time that works for you. And you can actually be booking appointments automatically for your clients right off their Gmb listing from people who actually call and don't get somebody when, Peterson Plumbing here is out replacing a water heater and they don't pick up the phone.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. It's such a strong offering and a great help for SMBs.
Absolutely.
That's plagued. I'm an agency guy. I still own and help operate and offer consulting to 4 agencies, and that's one of the biggest things we see is just the inconsistency. Not everyone can afford to run and maintain a front office, right? That's just running like a machine. So this type of technologies just help such a huge breadth of SMBs. So that's really cool.
And you know what's funny about that? So I have a great background in SMB. I used to run an answering service, and
that's right.
And so we scaled up to 5,000 small businesses before I left that business. And so I have quite a bit of experience here. And they were all local businesses. It was all inbound and it was all rollover. And I'll tell you, I met plenty of people with cracked front office crew that right smack on a Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. when everybody was in the office and they'd already had their first coffee and they got warmed up and blah, 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 blah. We would just get call after call after call after call because even the best people, even the most diligent employees, they're diligent, they're busy. They're helping someone who just walked in the front door. They're following up with a phone call from somebody from the night before. And ultimately, they're going to miss those calls and they're going to miss those interactions. And if you can automate that for them, right? And you can give them a system where they can follow up, where we even have the ability to roll it over to humans if you want to. You're really going to give them such a tremendous opportunity to close more business. And again, if you can actually be that funnel through which all of their business flows, you become irreplaceable, right? And
Agreed.
Obviously, Gmb is still rolling out messaging, and that's a new thing. But for us, like if you go look at, what we love is we love the chat widget, right? We are this is HighLevel right here, this chat widget down in the bottom right-hand corner. Being able to put this chat widget on your client's website, man, magic just happens. Like 3 times a day, people will just reach out and say, hey, listen, do you guys help with XYZ law, or I live in this city, can you take my case, right? And if you're the agency that's powering that tech, I mean, that's amazing, right? And all of a sudden, you can not only create these free leads from all of this traffic they were losing a second ago that wasn't picking up the phone and calling, but you can also create a whole nother product that you can now sell to your clients every month, and it's software as a service. It doesn't require you to staff up. It doesn't require you to add more people, right? It's amazing.
Yeah. I think something really cool to add here, and I don't know, a lot of the people that are going to be watching this, they're used to those type of chats, right? The honest truth about this is there's a lot of companies that just for that chat widget, and in the legal space as well, specifically where I ran into this, they charge through those chat widgets as leads. Yep. All the agencies checking this out right now, having all of these components, like there's individual companies charging actually what I consider outrageous. And I mean, I'm all about people charging what they want.
We should talk about those companies.
Yeah, there's a lot of those companies, man, and they charge outrageous fees just for those single things. And having an entire system A to Z, like
absolutely,
you're wielding a lot of powerful technology.
And what I've learned over the last 3 years working with agencies is simple. It's hard to be an agency because on one hand, you're tasked with this Herculean mission of trying to help the small business grow. And so what most agencies do is they do an amazing job. They come in, they swing hard, they work hard, but they end up also getting churned out like crazy. And when we looked at this problem and asked the question, like, why the heck does that happen? I think it's because most small businesses, whether you're rocking it or not, they just can't stomach the amount of money that it takes to truly do a great job marketing a business. And so agencies tend to come on and then come off and then come on and come off. It's very up, down, up, down, up, down. So if you've ever been on that sort of hamster wheel of churn, so we looked at this and we're like, wait a second, how do we help solve this for agencies, right? So we've got all these tools and we're helping agencies do what it is that they were doing before. We're helping them save money. We're giving them this platform to help them track all these leads and automate a lot of this. And I'm proud to say we're easily able to double the hang time with most agencies' clients. But I looked at that doubling and I thought, that's nice, but it's not good enough. And so I started to look around and I thought, well, who holds on to SMBs forever? Like who holds on to SMBs for the rest of their lives? And what I found was technology companies do, software companies specifically. And on my screen right now, there's a great example of this. So this company is called Podium. They're over 100 million in revenue now. I think last count, it was something like 60,000 single location businesses. They have a 2% monthly churn rate, which means they almost never lose a customer. And they charge a minimum of $400 a month. And if you look at what it is that they do for this amazing $400 charge, it's really simple. They do web chat, they do two-way text messaging, they do Google My Business messaging, and they do reputation management. And what we realized is, wait a second, we do all that stuff. We do reputation management, we do two-way text messaging, we do Google My Business messaging, we do web chat. The only thing that was missing was taking this and enabling agencies to sell it as a SaaS product on a monthly basis. And really, that's where we're going and what we've done. So now, if you look at HighLevel these days, we have our SaaS offering that we've rolled out, and what it allows you to do is really simple. It allows you to become podiums. So you can come in and sell your client on a monthly subscription service that allows you to just have different plans with different features, which automatically create users and automatically provision accounts, all of that stuff. And effectively, my mission is really simple. I want to turn every agency into one part software and one part service, because I think that agencies are well positioned to beat out any software company on the planet because they have the services in addition to the software, right? So if I'm a small business owner, I will buy the lower ticket item, and I'll probably keep the lower ticket item forever. But I want to buy it from somebody who can also give me those other things that maybe I still keep the services just for as little amount of time as I did before. But now the difference is the agency doesn't get fired. The agency might drop the AdWords campaigns, drop the Facebook ads, but ultimately long term they're going to keep the software. And we're seeing this now. This started as a crazy idea in my head, but now we've got over 150 agencies kind of on this beta here. Two of those agencies, I'm proud to say, are going to do over 3 million in revenue this year, just off the back of the software alone. And all the way down the line to 100,000 in revenue. So it's a very real idea, and I really think it's the future for digital marketing agencies.
Okay, you said a lot there that I agree with everything. Let's unpackage one thing that I really love. And I say this because I'm also a software owner. I own a portfolio of software, and I can tell every agency owner that will ever watch this and hear this, when you walk in to a business with a software and technology and the ability to help implement it, set it up, maintain it, whatever, the positioning, and I don't, there's not a human alive that can contest this, I promise. The positioning on how they're going to view your company, your agency, and your service is far beyond, I promise. It's just being able to have that tech component as part of your offering, even as an individual, like Shaun said, it can be an individual thing. You're reselling these, your Go HighLevel and have it white labeled and whatnot. Like, the positioning is far beyond what you get just walking in as a digital agency owner. Some of our largest digital agency clients we've acquired through them interacting with our software first. Full stop. Like, period. I'll take tech as the front end for positioning and how they're going to view you just in terms of expertise and authority. I'll take that over any other lead-in, anything else. I'll take that. I've seen it work firsthand. And I also agree, Shaun. Being on both sides of the tracks here, I completely agree that there's a lot of things SaaS operators can do really well. Pivoting to compete with agencies, I want to bet my money on agencies being able to have the tech and walk in with the tech. Absolutely, I agree with you. Much more flexible model than vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you know anything about tech, you know that vast majority of those companies are venture backed. Podium, for the record, last I checked, they've raised $218 million. They've gotten this selling software. They're never going to be able to sell service. If they try to go sell service, their masters, also known as their VC backers, are going to say no, sorry, no thanks. And maybe they still own enough of the company to tell those guys to go take a hike, but those guys are going to say, hey, here's the deal, buddy. If next time you need me, next time you want to rate, you just got 125 mil back in April. When you're ready for your 200 mil, it ain't coming. So they're going to listen to these guys. They don't listen to their customers anymore. They listen to their backers. And ultimately, This is where I think our goal is really simple. We want to democratize technology. It's right now today, if you look, technology is really in the hands of these people. It's not in the hands of Podium. It's in the hands of Excel and Album VC and Y Combinator. These guys hold all the strings, and they keep back all this technology, and they're able to use it like a weapon. Our goal is simple. We want to weaponize the agencies, right? We don't want to build an empire. We want to arm the rebels. That's what we're about. And if you look at people like Law Hustle here, not only people don't see HighLevel, right? They see the Law Hustle login page. They see the Law Hustle iPhone app. Because for us, it's about the agency winning, not about us winning. That's our goal. And we can see this model in crazy, weird places. Like, have you ever heard of Thrive, Mark?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what is Thrive? I'll tell you what Thrive is. Thrive is the Yellow Pages. It's the Yellow Page company. and why the heck am I showing the $1.3 billion Yellow Page company? Aren't these guys dead? Aren't they out of business? Aren't they going away? No, because they figured out SaaS. They've got $127 million in SaaS revenue across 44,000 customers. And did they build their own SaaS company, this mighty big billion-dollar company called Thrive? No, they did not. They white labeled this company called Visita. They aren't, Thrive is just Visita with the Thrive branding on it, right? And so what did it do for this $1.3 billion company that, by the way, I have no idea how they were smart enough to do it, but they were smart enough to go to SaaS. And by the way, they compare themselves to people like Keep and HubSpot and ServiceTitan. And they know they're working in 30 million customer market. It's a massive market. And so what I've talked to the inside salespeople here, and here's what happened. When they first combined their company, they tried to sell Google AdWords, aka agency services, and the churn rates were tremendous. So then when they switched over to SaaS, guess what happened? Their churn rates fell through the floor. They're seeing a 3% churn rate. And this is the Yellow Pages, right? These are not the brightest bulbs. These are not the sharpest folks. They're the people of those big yellow books. And yet they're successfully making this pivot. And who are the salesperson people that they send out to the markets? These aren't agencies. They don't know how to do services. They're just the old Yellow Page sales guys, 1,000 of them nationwide running around knocking on doors. Imagine if instead of this being sold by an agent or by a Yellow Page sales guy, it's sold by an agency who can say, yeah, you know what? We've got all of this technology you need. We have all the software to do billing and to enable chat and Google My Business and CRM and blah, 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 blah. Oh, and by the way, we also know how to make it work. We can set it up for you. And when you're ready for a new website or an AdWord campaign or a Facebook ad, retargeting or all of those things, we're here for you. It's a one-stop shop. It's just such a slam dunk. And I know that agencies are going to just adopt this model. I've already seen them crushing it. It's just only gonna get better from here.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's magic, man. It's magic.
So I mean, and what I love about it, what gets me fired up is really at the end of the day, I've always been passionate about the small business. I've always wanted to help small businesses. And I realized that agencies are the key to that, right? Because technology changes, marketing changes, techniques change. You know, a year ago, maybe making a Facebook ad was all you needed to do, but that, you know, everyone's doing that now, right? So now it's on to something else. I'm a software guy. I don't know, is it TikTok? Is it Snapchat? I have no clue, but I think great marketers do. And I think that ultimately small businesses that are going to thrive and survive are ones that are going to realize that, you know, it's not in their best interest to try to do this on their own. And in fact, I actually think COVID has helped with this tremendously. If you go to Google My Business or Google Trends and you search digital marketing agency, and you go back to the time when Google started tracking all this data in 2004, you'll see that people have never before searched this term more than now. The same thing goes for SEO agency. And if you know anything about trends, a 3-term and a 2-term having such overlap is a near statistical impossibility. And yet here they are. And I think the reason why is because COVID has gotten the word out. It said, hey, listen, if you're a small business owner, you need to go digital or you're going to be dead. And the small business owner is like, uh-oh, I need to do this. How the heck do I do it? You know what they're doing? They're trying to find agencies. They're reaching out and they're searching and they're trying to find people to help them to put all of this stuff in place. And so I think it's the best time ever to be a digital agency. And I think digital agencies are the right people, not just to bring the services, but to bring the technology, because together, that's really what that business owner needs to be successful and to grow.
Yeah. I think something really powerful I want to touch on, you know, and obviously it's the overarching theme, but the thing is for people to be able to access this and own this, have their brand on it, have, you know, just them be the face of the technology.
Absolutely. The white label.
The only other way to have that power is if you build it yourself. And I can tell you, Shaun can tell you don't need, I could get guys on here all day long that have built software that'll tell you you most likely, if you're an agency person, you most likely don't want to take that journey. It's expensive. It's hard. It never ends. I mean, we're not going to ask Shaun too many prying questions, and I don't want to really talk financials either, but the amount you invest never.
Well, I think that actually is one of the biggest misnomers and misunderstandings in software. I think most people think software is like this, like a car. Like you build the car and then that's it. You put it on the road and it drives for a long time. But you know, software is actually this never-ending thing. So it's not just never-ending in like this, oh, we just kind of keep maintaining it kind of thing. Every feature you pound out, you basically are saying, I'm going to have at least one full-time engineer to keep the lights on forever. Because you think, oh, I just write the code and don't worry, it'll keep running. But the reality is that things change. The libraries you build on change, the server hosting that you rely on changes, the needs of the customers change. All those things are in constant change. And unless you're changing with it, honestly, at some point, the code itself would literally start to break only because it's not being updated with all of the updates that are happening out in the world. So on our side, we have 120 team members today to build the platform that we have today. And I fully anticipate that we will have double that number by the end of the year. So it's an incredibly arduous task to do. But I think what makes us different than everybody else is we're also about staying in our lane. We don't sell directly to business owners. We have no plans to ever change that. And we fundamentally do this for, I think, a really honest reason. We don't think that businesses should be doing their own marketing. And we do think that every other platform that anybody else has ever used takes the opposite stance. You know, if it's ActiveCampaign or HubSpot or anybody else, they fundamentally are trying to sell through agencies, not to agencies, because they believe that if they only get ActiveCampaign in the hands of Bob's Towing, Bob can take it from there. Bob will eventually be able to take over all of his own marketing. And I think that we just fundamentally disagree with that, and we think it will never be the case. So we're always going to be white.
I agree with your disagreeing. I do. I like that. Man, I told you this the first time we talked, Shaun. It wasn't, I mean, it's obviously not disingenuous because there was no camera on the first time we talked. I love your vision. Your philosophy aligns with mine on so many levels. I mean, obviously I'm going to be biased because we think the same, but I truly support what you're doing. The democratization of technology and, you know, saying, hey, agency owner Tom, you don't have to invest the hundreds of thousands of dollars and then maintain it. You don't have to. You can focus on doing what you do best. Now we're just going to arm you with another strategy, another component, right?
Exactly.
That can help you make more money. It can help you, you know, keep retention high. It can help you have an entire other offering and different positioning, a more powerful positioning on the sales call or presentation. Like, just love everything you're doing. I guess if you want to take, is there anything you really want to? I mean, we covered a lot. Is there any other features? Anything of your philosophy?
I mean, we've got a bajillion features, and you know, honestly, I mean, I could sit here all day and talk about them. I mean, I really love our automated booking AI that we have in the system. I mean, I think that we have just such a tremendous offering, and you know, I think our attribution reporting is cool. So, you know, being able to track revenue all the way back to the ad level is awesome. I mean, I think I could go on forever. But I think the most important thing is, like, if you want to see all the stuff for HighLevel, definitely head over to YouTube, go to the HighLevel channel. We've got videos for the rest of your life there. But, you know, I just want to impress upon agency owners that I think it's an incredible time. You know, obviously the economy, I think, is already recovering. And I think that this mission of trying to help small businesses not only survive, but thrive, I think is incredibly important. And I really truly believe that agencies are the right answer to making that happen. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to take up arms, because if you don't, what's the alternative, right? The alternative is there are lots of big brands and lots of multinational providers that can't wait to come in and stamp out all of these small players and replace them with what will ultimately be, you know, low wage, you know, low rent, dead end jobs that I think will fundamentally suck money out of most of these communities. I mean, if you look at small businesses, they pay better, they're more innovative, they're more likely to give back to the community. They just care more. And ultimately, I think that makes the world a better place. So for me, it's just about impressing upon agencies to keep up the good fight, because I think they're the right answer to helping make the future a better spot. And it's why we support them, and it's why we work very hard to try to continue to churn this out. And you know, we can't wait to meet more of them.
That's awesome. Well, anyone from my camp that hasn't met you guys yet will hear about you. We'll get this in LCT and we'll push out to the LV list and all our YouTube channels and stuff. I didn't know you guys had attribution reporting. I completely missed that. Man, really that is something. That's something every business lacks almost. I mean, even larger businesses.
Well,
this
absolutely.
This
Absolutely.
is I see this all the time. No one takes the time to do this, and that's another thing that can really increase retention for
Oh yeah,
all of our
absolutely.
agency
And
friends still
it's
here.
revenue attribution, right? So I mean, if you want to
Sure.
drop into nerdy marketer mode, the thing that always happens, right, is there's that keyword that drives the volume, right? And you're like,
Mhm.
wow, look at all the leads we're getting from this keyword. But you're like, yeah, but how much money do you make from that keyword? Like, is it profitable? You're like, oh well,
That's
yeah, we
it.
get a lot of customers from it. Okay, cool. Well, who are these people? I guarantee you dollars to donuts in any single vertical. There are the keywords that drive the volume, but they don't drive the mega profitable customers because
Sure.
and because the volume is so high, it's like screaming in your face. But you're missing over here how if you just combine these 100 small keywords together, you'd actually make
Yeah.
more money than this supposed massive volume keyword that you're so fixated on, right? But you can't see all of that because if you think about how Google tracks things, they call it a conversion, but that's nonsense. It's a lead. Conversion means somebody who buys. And then when they buy, you need to know a lot more than that. You need to know how much money did they spend. And if you can
Yeah.
take that and attribute it back, man, you could 10x your return because now you know, hey, wait, yeah, this does drive a lot of volume, but if instead I took a little budget from here and I put it over in these other areas, I just doubled my profit. Holy crap. And I probably got better customers for doing it because these people are
Absolutely.
more sophisticated, they pay more, all of those things. These are the people I'd rather have.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some of the most valuable insight you can gather for a client or even for your own business. That's really cool, Shaun. And I didn't know you guys had that in there.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's fun. I mean, we're gonna keep driving hard on it because I really think once everybody understands, okay, I'm capturing all the leads I can, I've got chat in place and missed call text back and all this other stuff. That's cool. Now let's talk about making sure that when we do spend $1 on ads, let's make sure we're doing it in a way that's really ROI positive as much as possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And to be able to walk into a business and have that intelligence and to be able to say, hey, this channel, this medium might seem like it's this profitable or this successful, being able to pull that down, like, yes, your leads are cheap on Facebook, but your lifetime value is higher off of AdWords or SEO, which is
Oh
usually
gosh,
cheap.
absolutely, right? And how many
Yeah.
small businesses you say like, well, what do you think about AdWords? Oh, I hate it. It's terrible. It's the worst thing ever. Oh, we're wasting so much money. But then, who are you talking to? You're like talking to a plumber or something, right? And you're like,
Right.
so you think people go search plumber near me on AdWords like for fun, do you? Like they do that for giggles? Like, no, of course they don't, right? It's just you don't know what
Right.
you're doing. You see, that's the problem.
Right.
Fundamentally, AdWords is I would say for every business is the absolute best place to start, not the last place to start. It's more complex than you think. Now, I do think that the local service ads are definitely trying to change that, and I definitely think that will be very popular this year. But once the
Agreed.
local service ads take off, as they have in some markets and in some verticals, then it's just down to, well, how do I rank higher? And I have to tell you, I spoke to the local service ads people today. They rank off of your reply rates. They rank off
Yeah.
of your responses. So are you
Mhm.
responding? Do you pick up the phone? They're measuring that. And
Right.
if you don't respond, I don't care. You're going to get downranked. And I was going to show off this really quick slide here. So this is a screenshot. I'm on the phone here with Google. And this is the Google messaging team. And here's their roadmap for the rest of the year. So desktop support, like I said, coming in Q3 2021. Payment integration coming in. They were all excited about getting it in the Android dialers. They asked me like my opinion on this stuff, and I was like, who cares? I have a Pixel phone. I'm a Google guy till I die on my phone, but I still don't think it's going to move the needle. I was like, I think desktop is the best thing. And then of course they also are baking it into into AdWords, and I think that's going to be massive as well. So those were the things I thought personally would drive a lot of volume for them.
That's interesting.
So there you go. There's the Google My Business Messaging roadmap for the year.
Very cool.
So kind of cool from a marketing perspective, and especially for people who do a lot of work on Gmb.
Yeah, I mean, it gives us the roadmap going forward and what to expect and how to prepare for it. I mean, Google owns the ecosystem, right?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
you have to be prepared to play in it.
And the goal I can tell is quite clear. It's kind of like they want a Hotel California, right? You check in, but you never leave. So
Yeah.
they want you to come here, they want you to search, and then they want you to stick. Like, Google's original mission was, look, I come here, I find the right plumber for me down here, and then I go off to that plumber's website. But I think over time, what they learned was the Yelps of the world, the Angie's Lists of the world, all of these third-party directories were bringing in all kinds of revenue. And I think eventually they said, wait a second, that should be our money, not their money. And now I think they've already, I mean, you can already see it, right? So the LSAs plus the AdWords plus the map pack. I mean, I can pull this down. It's as big as my 32-inch monitor goes. And I think I barely found the first natural listing down here, right?
Yep.
It's very clear to me that their future direction is simple. They want you to search, they want you to message, read reviews, and then eventually their goal is to get you to transact right here. And that's it. They don't want you to ever leave again. In fact, the LSAs, I think, are a really great proof point, because what was the problem with AdWords before? You had to pick the keyword, it was cost per click, and oh, by the way, you had to have like a place to send them, right? But now it's like, oh, I clicked, it didn't cost me anything. So that's first win for Google. This isn't a website, right? Google made this for me. Oh, awesome. I don't have to even make a website now. Great, right? And then if I do get a lead, if I don't like it, I can have them refund me. Right? They're trying to make this as easy as humanly possible to get adoption. And I do think this, if you're in the local space, LSAs or local service ads are going to be a big deal for you this year, one way or another, even if you don't like it.
Agreed. I think everyone should prepare to be ready to have that as part of their slide in their deck and be helping business owners with it. I know they're made easy. They have some things to work out with the platform. We use them habitually, and every chance we get, there's some bugs. They'll work it out. It's still new.
Well, but I mean, you know what? It's just one of those things where you're like, you know what? We just take care of it for you, and it's just part of the menu. And then as the business owner, I'm like, oh, thank God. Because even if this was, I think of it like, like you could probably do your own bookkeeping if you wanted to, but who wants to do their own bookkeeping? But what a pain in the butt, right? So
that's a good analogy.
Yeah, exactly. So even if the LSA, quote unquote, by itself is easy, it's still something you want to get the heck off your plate. And if you have a great resource in the marketing department and you're like, oh, you do my Gmb, you do my LSAs, you do it, like, oh, great, awesome, I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, plus there's additional pieces like the LSA review, the special reviews just for LSA, being able, I know the LSA has an API. It's not open yet. They're not ready for it. But
we're working on it.
Yeah, you're watching it?
Well, we had a meeting today with the local services team, and the only two integrators that are currently open are, as I know, are Service Titan and Housecall Pro. But they're looking at adding us as well. So I'm hopeful by the time this either gets released or a couple weeks thereafter, we'll have the capacity to put our booking URL and booking widget on the LSAs, just like local Service Titan and those other guys. And then after that, they're going to add the messaging piece to the LSAs. And then I was going to try to find one, but you've seen the guys who have the forms up here as well. And we'll be able to also pull off any of the leads that come in through the form. So I'm going to find somebody there we go. So we'll be able to intercept the calls, and we'll be able to get any of the form submissions off of this as well.
Very cool. That's cool that it's at that point in development. Because that'll be great too. Just additional automation, additional management's one less thing anyone has to worry about. Yep. Extremely valuable, man. Extremely valuable.
Oh yeah. So I think these are really good things for anybody in your group, whether they use HighLevel or not, to be aware of. Because I think that this is the type of stuff that every local business agency is gonna confront this year if they haven't already.
Oh, agreed. And I think we covered some really important components that every local agency should be considering and offering.
Someone should call this guy right now and say, hey, did you know your name is Zero?
Yeah.
Hey, it's Zero. I don't think you want to be called Zero. I'm pretty sure that's not your name.
Right.
We can help you with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Can't believe that even got approved in there.
Well, my bet is this all feeds up from the Gmb profile, right?
Yeah.
I doubt there's any kind of manual review there. My bet is somebody just goofed up the Gmb profile, and now boom, he's Zero.
Potentially, yeah. That's interesting.
So there you go. It shows you can accidentally blow up your LSA and your Gmb at the same time.
Well, they need an agency.
That's right. Somebody jump on the stat. He's
Yeah,
still
this is
zero by the time you see this. You really ought to call
yeah. I mean, at this point, Shaun's helping you generate leads too. He's lining your next client up for you.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see, how this goes. But again, I think it's really a big part of local. So that's cool that you already deal with it. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, very beneficial. And some people, I heard some pros and cons of it. People's opinions. I've seen that the leads are really great prices compared to AdWords, and I don't know. I'm sold on them. So
Well,
there's where
I just think it'll be, I think it'll be just one of the yet another thing to add to the list, right? And this is what
agreed.
in some situation, in some ways, I think it really just is another thing to help marketers provide more value for their clients, even if they perform higher or lower than anything else. It's just something else to add to the bag.
Yeah, agreed. Definitely agreed. Really cool. So yeah, I appreciate it, Shaun. Everyone, go check out Go High Level, the YouTube channel. Tons of content. They also just recently had an extremely handsome fella named Mark on their spotlight.
We should hold on. Let's find this guy real quick. We can't leave
Oh,
without doing that. So yeah,
oh
definitely
no.
HighLevel, all one word here. Oh, look at this. All right, we're gonna find you. We're gonna find you. Oh, I bet you're right in here. Boom.
Oh.
Hold on. Did I do the wrong thing? Oh, sorry. I don't know how to use YouTube. That's my problem. Hold on. There. Oh,
there I am.
Oh, there he is. Boom.
Look at that.
Look at that. I like these new cover photos. I got to tell you. I think they're well done. So there you go. So there is a really nice video. At least everyone needs to watch that one. I mean, skip all the rest, but definitely watch that one.
Yeah, come on, guys. Where's the support? Only 257 views. I guess in my defense, I didn't. Well, in their defense, I didn't post it in my group yet.
There you go. Come on. You got to post your own videos, right?
Yeah, we have to work these numbers, LCT. You're making me look terrible here. No, but yeah. So the HighLevel YouTube channel to check out the spotlight sessions, more about the features of Go HighLevel. Definitely consider just everything Shaun said today in terms of owning the SaaS, being able to go in there and set it up for people, what that can do for your agency. I mean, that's a no-brainer. And then some of the other stuff we touched on, just as lead nurturing as a service, and the SaaS and the LSA, and just the different messaging and the different layers that Google's going to introduce and how we can capitalize on it. I mean, hate it or love it, it's their SERP ecosystem we're playing in and monetizing. So understanding it and leveraging tech to automate it, report on it, measure it, very important. And man, just the democratization of technology, ladies and gentlemen. Shaun Clark, Go HighLevel. Thank you, sir. It was amazing.
Yes, always thank you for having me.
It's great.
All right. Bye for now.
Great. See you, man.